Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of Iliad, book 16, and I got up to line 74, and so we have here again part of the speech of Achilles in reply to the rather vehement speech of Patroklos in the earlier section. So he says now they are fighting around the straton, probably the camp here. Uga today Diomedes en Palamasi. For, now the subject of this is on the next line, it's enkae. This is an epic form of enkos, simply meaning the spear. So the spear of Diomedes, son of Tydeus, does not rage Minotai, put in the first position. That's a very powerful word. So the spear of Diomedes, son of Tydeus, does not range in his hand, hands plural, and then the apo is a preverb with the amunai, so as to ward off ruin from the Danans. Udepo, and this is another rather sarcastic line here, nor ekluon, I think it's I, so nor was I hearing, it takes a genitive, opos is genitive of ops, nor yet have I heard the voice of the son of Atreus calling out, and then very sarcastic, ekthres ek kephales, from his hated head, from his hateful head. Allah, but now there's no subject for this verb, periagnutai, which means to, from agnumi and peri, means to break around. The metaphor's not very clear here, but possibly taken from the roar of waves, maybe the metaphor here. And you have to supply ops from the previous line, the nominative of this noun here. So, but the voice, understood, of man-slaying Hector giving orders to the Trojans, periagnutai, breaks around, understand me. But they, that's the Trojans, kat ekusi, they have control, really, they hold down, they have control of Panpedion, the whole plain, alaleto, onomatopoetic word, I think, with their din, with their noise. Conquering in battle the Achaeans in battle, as they conquer the Achaeans in battle. With participles, you often have to make it into a separate clause there. So, so they have control of all of the plain with their din as they conquer the Achaeans in battle. Alakaihos, but even thus, vocative O Patroklos, neon apoloigon amunon empes. Now the empes is, I think, an imperative here. It's an aorist imperative from empipto. So it's sort of attack them, literally fall among them, but so attack them powerfully, epikratios, adverb. Amunon, warding off, and the apo again is a preverb with amuno, warding off ruin from the neon, from the ships. May day, lest in fact, and this is puros aithomenoio, we need to get the verb here. So lest, now this is from, it's n plus pimpremi is the verb here. It's again one of those reduplicated presents, pim prami, and if you take off the reduplication, you get the root, which is pray, and then you've got any for n. So lest they burn, and then we've got a genitive on the previous page, something like with, burning or blazing fire. So lest they burn the ships with blazing fire. The puros is commonly called a genitive of material. Philon de aponoston helontai, and the apo again goes with the helontai, which is a aorist subjunctive from hierio, and so that they might remove or take away our dear return home. Philos could be just our return home. You don't have to always translate it as dear, but it could be just they take away our return voyage, noston. Pathio de hos toi ego muthoi telos en fresi theo. It's obey, it's an imperative. This would be ou in later Greek, but it's patheo. It's an imperative from patho in the middle, so obey me. Now the host toi, something like even as I. Theo is probably subjunctive from tithemi, and we get a telos muthoi, again idiomatic here, literally an end of a word, or fulfillment of a word, and you could paraphrase that by saying, instruction. So even as I place an instruction in your mind. En fresi, it's plural of course, but plural for singular. So obey me even as I cast an instruction in your mind. Hos an moi, so that the arrei is from anumai. It's not iro, it's from anumai, and it's a second person subjunctive here, I think. So it's something so that you might win for me great time, well, translated as honour, and kudos, and glory. Pros pantone, from all the Danans. Ate, well, it's normally a very strong but, so you could translate it as but aponasosi, this is from aponio. It's a Homeric form, an epic form from aponio, to send back again, and we get the again with the apps. But they might send back again the Periclea, the very beautiful young girl. This is precise. And now the poti for pros, and it's used adverbially here, and in addition, porosi from poro, you get porisdo, various forms of this root por. It means to provide or furnish marvellous gifts. So in addition, they might provide marvellous gifts. Ek neon elasas ianai palin. So having driven them to go back away from the ships, this is to drive the having driven them back away from, to go away from the ships. This is from Elauno. Sorry, yes, this is from Elauno. It's just an aorist participle. So having driven them back away from the ships to go, so to go back away from the ships. Eidiken autoi doi kudos arestai, erigdupos posis heres. If, moreover, or if perhaps once again, the loud thundering, the very noisy, the loud thundering wife of husband of Hera, that is Zeus, of course, might grant to you arestai, again this is from anumai, to win kudos, to win glory. Me su genuthin emea uliastai polemisdain. Now it's an imperative here. Liliastai desiring. Oh yeah. So we get may with the infinitive. Greek Homer often uses infinitive for imperative. So it's something, do not in fact desire to make war with the war-loving Trojans, anuthen emea, apart from me, without me. The emea genitive would have emu in Attic. So he's warning him here, so do not desire to make war with the war-loving Trojans without me. Artimoteron de theses, but you will place me even more dishonoured. In other words, I will have even less time. Nor epangelomenos, nor exulting, enjoying, taking pleasure in war and carnage, nor taking pleasure with war and carnage, I might translate that as killing the Trojans. And again, it's may plus an infinitive. So hegemonue is to lead the way. So do not lead the way in the direction of Patroklos, Ilium. So he's saying go and fight them there, but do not continue to go towards Ilium, lest tis one from the gods who live forever, from Olympus, Embae, might come down from Olympus. It might enter into the fray, I think. So lest one of the gods who live eternally might come into the fray from Olympus. Malatus gephile hekaergos Apollon, and for Apollo, the far worker, cares, in fact, for them, Mala, very much. That is for the Trojans. Alapalin tropastai. Again, we get lots of these infinitives for imperatives, but turn around, or turn back, epe, whenever, theis from tithemi, era subjunctive, whenever you might place phaos, well, just a light, really, sort of a light of hope, almost like a ray of hope among the ships. That is, when you've driven the Trojans back away from the ships. Deiri astai is from the verb deiri aamai. It's an alpha contract verb. It means to contend or wrangle. So it's something like, now we get another infinitive here for imperative. So allow them again to contend or wrangle or fight, and the kata goes with the pedion, you can see from the accent there, around the plain. So allow them to fight to continue to fight around the plain, Agar for now Agar is like epsilon iota, and Agar is used with the optative of a wish, and there's the optative down here. So would that, and then we get vocatives, O Father Zeus and Athena and Apollo, would that neither any then of the Trojans might avoid death, Hossoi Isasi, as many as there are, so it's almost as though there are so many of them, as many as there are, nor any of the Argives knowing de ekdumen olethron, nor let any of the Argives. Now this is again an infinitive here from ekduo, it's to get out from, so perhaps escape. Now hang on, the no in here is a dual, it's we too. So yeah, sorry, this goes with the earlier bit here. So let none of the Trojans, may they escape. Would that neither any of the Trojans might escape death, many as there are, nor any of the Argives. But we too, it's an infinitive, but that we too might escape. Sorry, this is not an infinitive, this is a first person plural. But we too, may we escape olethron, destruction. I'll do that bit again. Very well done there. So would that Father Zeus and Athena and Apollo would that neither any then of the Trojans might escape death, as many as there are, nor any of the Argives, but that we too might escape olethron, destruction. Offra hoia Troyes hera credemna luomen. This is a funny expression here. This credemna, it's often used of headgear and diadems. The reference here appears to be to the sacred walls of Troy. So that we alone, so that we alone might loose, so might destroy. You often get luo for apoluo. We might destroy the sacred diadems of Troy. That is referring to the sacred walls of Troy. And that is the next section of Book 16.